Tradition restored. It's been 3 long years since we've all been together all at once. More than 40,000 strong, one day, one race.
The 4th of July in Atlanta. We celebrate our country, our families, and the everyday heroes living with us. We cheer on our friends, we salute our military, and we revel in survivors' incredible courage.
This is Atlanta at its best. Once again, a city and a race at full strength.
These are your stories and your victories. This is the AJC Peachtree Road Race, start to finish.
For the 53rd time, Atlanta now hosts what is the world's biggest 10K race. I'm Jeff Hullinger.
And I'm Jennifer Bellamy. And what a long and strange journey it has been. In 2020, no race at all. 2021, 2 days of racing. But now for the first time since 2019, one day, one big 4th of July party here in Atlanta.
And the race itself, filled with elite runners, some real superstars, were running Peachtree. Here's how the men's and the women's races were decided.
Sunbury Teferi, the 5K world record holder, is going strong here. She's got this final downhill. That last uphill really is a tough one, but Sunbury Teferi pushing hard here. Can Cheptai answer? Irene Cheptai is the one to watch. She is in second. Can she get around Sunbury Teferi? I don't think she can. Sunbury Teferi is going hard. Look at that knee drive, her arms. But Cheptai is trying again. It looks as if it's going to be Sunbury Teferi, and I do believe he's got this race wrapped up, though. Look at him come. 27:10 on the clock right now. He's not going to get that record, but he is going to get the win, and he's going to be so pleased. He's been beaten twice by Ronix, by Kibiwat Candy. Today, It's his day. Ronix Kipruto, the champion of the 2022 Atlanta Journal-Constitution Peachtree Road Race.
What a great day of action. These runners are truly elite. And for every single runner, every step toward the finish line is a singular personal triumph, a triumph after going through so much difficult and tough training.
And for many, after going through all the toughest adversities and the tragedies, one runner calls herself the luckiest of all, of everybody that was running today, because she needed a second chance to earn her triumph again. John Sherrick has her story.
The soul,
it was dark,
and the heart
we were coming off the highway
of a runner are one.
We were hit by another vehicle head on.
The runner's spirit beating, alive and ready to soar.
It was like the car had exploded.
No matter what happens to the body.
I didn't know if anybody other than me was still alive in the car until I heard people screaming.
Jessica Rantamaki of Suwannee still thinks about it every day, with every step she can take again. In every workout, this runner in the Peachtree every July 4th since 2009, except for 1 year. Jessica remembers every detail of July 1st, 2017.
My spine was fractured.
Her internal injuries catastrophic.
I couldn't breathe.
Because a car thief speeding away from police.
He crossed the double yellow lines, crashed head-on into an oncoming car.
I got one in bad shape.
That thief sped head-on into her and her husband and 2 friends, nearly killing Jessica, nearly killing her spirit.
So that's the spinal fusion.
Months of recovery.
There was a nurse that came to my room, and I told her, I said, I don't think I'm going to make it through this. I said, I don't think I can handle this pain. And she said, I saw the picture of the car you were in, and I saw what happened to you. And she said, you are one of the luckiest people I've ever met. She said, you're going to be just fine. She was like an angel in the middle of the night. I said, you know what? You're right. I'm extremely lucky.
That's when Jessica Rantamaki knew she had to run the Peachtree with her husband Rick the next July 4th, less than a year away. Her neurosurgeon telling her,
he said, we're going to take this in baby steps.
Jessica worked through more pain, her body healing. By November, she walked half of a half marathon in tears of triumph. By January, her doctors cleared her to run. July 4th, 2018, Jessica's comeback Peachtree, proudly displaying her scars front and back. This time when she reached the Shepherd Center along the course, instead of waving at the patients with spinal cord injuries who were cheering on the runners, she stopped to talk.
It had a much different meaning to me. Even though I wasn't a patient there, I said I had a spinal injury, and I just want to say I have a little glimpse into what everyone here is facing.
She cheered them on.
I mean, I crossed the finish line in tears.
And ever since, the soul and heart of this runner soaring, expressing gratitude to her rescuers, her doctors, nurses, family, and friends with every step she takes now.
Because if I can do this, I'm hoping that it can give other people encouragement that they can get through whatever it is they're facing.
In Suwanee, John Shurik, 11 Alive News.
The AJC Peachtree Road Race is a tradition that really brings everyone together. It's for everyone. It's for runners, it's for volunteers, or people who just want to watch the race.
And that is a message that one coach has recently learned and is now passing on to the boys that he mentors. All are welcome. Cheryl Preheim has more.
So right here, this spot, this is where my dad used to work back in the day.
CJ Stewart knows these streets from a lifetime in Atlanta, but he never thought he'd be running them with his wife and kids cheering him on.
I saw running as a white thing to do. I didn't see African-American people in my community jogging.
Life changed his course.
You started running at the start of the pandemic and after the murder of Ahmaud Arbery.
Me leaning in to running was what I needed for my mental health. It was just those two convicting moments that got me connected to now a lifelong pursuit of continuing to be an avid runner.
CJ and Kelly run LEAD, a sports-based youth development program.
It uses the sport of baseball to teach Black boys how to overcome 3 curveballs that threaten their success, and that's crime, poverty, and racism. Our boys and their families are facing some really tough barriers and challenges to just live every day. And we step in to help our boys be kids.
When you see them, you get all of them in mind, body, and soul. I love being around them and I love learning from them.
Coach CJ presented his players with a new challenge.
Ralph David Abernathy.
Running the Peachtree in 2020 virtually, this year with the crowd.
Why did you want them to experience the Peachtree Road Race?
It's just one of those markers of accomplishments for African-American boys that are navigating this city, a city where many of these boys, especially dark-skinned teenage boys in Atlanta, are seen as threats. And so, doing something like the Peachtree Road Race, it gives them the benefit of the doubt, respect, and trust.
6.2 miles.
Running through the city with the city to be part of a greater change.
Let them know that the Peachtree Road Race is for them, that Atlanta is still their city.
One man says that he cannot wait to attack Cardiac Hill again in the AJC Peachtree Road Race. And you can understand because he nearly died from heart failure 2 years ago.
He tells our Hope 4 that with his very first race ever, he wants to show it's never too late.
A few pull-ups, a quick jog.
Oh, it feels so good.
What you see may look like training for a race, but it's so much more. For Frankie DeFore, it's possibility.
The wake-up call from God saying, Frankie, you're not being the best Frankie that you can be.
Frankie may look like a perfectly healthy man. In fact, he's always looked that way, but looks can be deceiving.
In 2020, I was 34 years old, and my heart gave out. It gave out completely. They called my family and they said, he's not going to make it. They said he's going to die. So my whole family came up there and to say their goodbyes.
And if you weren't already aware, there's a beautiful spoiler alert here.
But I didn't die.
Frankie lived for months with a heart pump.
This guy was in my chest.
And only recently had the pump removed.
This cable came out this hole in my abdomen. And it came out to right here, and I had a controller. I was connected to batteries for 16 months.
So what's a man who nearly died to do in the months after heart surgery, after living with a pump, after being told his life will forever change? Well, why not run the world's largest 10K?
I've got to live my life like it's my last every day because it could be.
And so he trains, determined.
If I don't get up and work every day and eat my best and try my hardest, then I'm going to end up laid up in a bed with that guy back in my chest.
and I don't ever want to be there again.
It's not only for his health, his mental well-being, and his spirit, but to show anyone and everyone Frankie's glass is always half full.
You can get out and run the Peachtree Road Race. You can be laying in a bed. The doctors have already called your family and said he's going to die. And it's still not too late to change your life. You know, even on that day, it's not too late to change your life because it wasn't too late for me.
In Midgeville, Hope Ford, 11 Alive News.
And here's an interesting postscript to Hope's story. Frankie tells her that he plans to have the bearing from his heart pump fashioned by a jewelry maker into an engagement ring for his girlfriend.
That's unbelievable. So here we are. We're at the finish line for the AJC Peachtree Road Race. And when you talk about all things that go on, we're in a very special place on July 4th.
That's right. From the elite finishes to the reveal of that coveted AJC Peachtree Road Race t-shirt. Jerry Carnes has seen it all over the last few years, and here's just a little bit of what he saw this year.
For every foot that crosses the finish line of the AJC Peachtree Road Race, it seems there's a different reason for running.
The older you get, the harder it is, but we're just trying to make sure that we stay healthy.
Jack Abbott finished this year's Peachtree less than a year after surviving COVID, as well as surgery to replace a kidney.
That was my 48th to finish, so I don't know what else to do in the fourth, so I came down here with Jimmy and my wife Sandra, and they got me to the finish line.
Jimmy is Pastor Jimmy Slick, the man who surrendered his healthy kidney so Jack Abbott could live and run. The two finished this year's race together.
When you know somebody's needs help, you just got to be there to help them out.
Good job, y'all.
Some run to remember. For one family, they run to remember Larry Langren, who died in January when a tree fell on the retired pilot's car. He was 66.
He ran this race every year.
What does it mean to you to be able to represent him here?
Oh my goodness, I was like crying when everyone's on the sidelines was like, we miss Larry.
They are healing, much like Peachtree itself. COVID erased the 4th of July run in 2020, then reduced the size of last year's race. This year's run feels more like the 4th of July tradition we've grown to know and love.
Like it feels like life used to be. And after what we've been through, I think humans need a bit of that, a little bit of the uplifting, a little bit of the positive spirit.
This is how Atlanta celebrates America.
Having fun, don't care about who left or right, just doing it.
So many runners, so many stories of celebration and triumph. In Piedmont Park, Jerry Carnes, 11 Alive News.
Still to come on Start to Finish, from the front line to the finish line, why these hospital workers decided to run the Peachtree.
Plus 97 years young. Betty Lindbergh is a name everyone in Atlanta running circles knows all about. And she is at it again at this year's AJC Peachtree Road Race.
Now, because this is the first year back in full force since 2019, that means it's something special to those in the medical field.
Now, two physicians at Northside Hospital are running for their own reasons. They have found a commonality that they are going from the front line to the finish line, and Maria Martin has their story.
Everyone runs the Peachtree Road Race for different reasons. For two Northside Hospital physicians, this year is about going from the front line to the finish line.
These last 2 years have been very difficult for all of us, and so it's really exciting to have us all come together and really be able to go out there and celebrate and have a great time running the Peachtree Road Race.
Dr. Torrance Laurie is a sports medicine physician at Northside Hospital and former gymnast at the University of Michigan.
I definitely think that that's been really helpful, having that background and giving me a little bit of more insight into ways to optimize my training, ways to prevent overuse injuries.
He's no stranger to the Peachtree Road Race, just not as a runner.
I have worked the event as a physician in the medical tent for several years, and each year I was inspired by the runners. That really motivated me to want to go out there myself and do it.
And it wasn't just his patients and past runners that inspired him to physically get involved. This year, he's running to pay tribute to his mom.
My mother mother unfortunately passed away 2 years ago from an autoimmune pulmonary disease, and just seeing her struggle to breathe doing her normal day-to-day tasks was really difficult for me. I think back to my mom and think that this is how she felt on a day-to-day basis, and if she was able to endure that every single day, then I can certainly push myself to finish a few more miles and finish the race.
Family also plays a role in why Northside registered nurse Gary Harris and his wife run the Peachtree.
In 2004, I was challenged by my then girlfriend, now wife, to run the Peachtree. We were, just started dating. We were doing adventure races.
So I got him the number. I signed him up and got my number, and then we ran the race together. And it's just such a fun experience. And so we lined up together on that day, and I think we've been lining up together ever since.
For nearly 2 decades, the Peachtree has been a constant in their lives to create memories for a lifetime.
The way we met, playing in the outdoors, the way we've continued to do that, the way our family still does that, the way our child plays in the outdoors. It's just something great to be able to share good health and love with your family.
And just like Dr. Lori, helping those in need has always been a part of their race day.
There's a brother and sister team that we've run with pretty consistently throughout the years. He's a police officer, she's a physician. The three of us have stopped together in the past to help somebody, because that's just what you do as being part of the Peachtree community.
From observer to volunteer to runner, this is quite the story. That is LaToya Thompson's saga.
And now she has the ultimate reason for why she runs. Molly Oak has her story.
I got my smalls, medium.
What is your why?
What is the largest size?
Why do you show up?
Oh, it's crunch time.
Why do you keep going?
Why on earth would you want to just to run for fun? It doesn't make any sense.
It's a question LaToya Thompson.
No, I'm not a runner.
Asked herself when she first learned about the race.
On the actual day of the Peachtree Road Race, and you have no idea what's going on, you're really confused because you're looking around like, where are these people coming from? Where are they going? Why are they all sweaty?
Which is why her coworker asked,
why not just volunteer? These are some cool looking shirts.
Volunteering turned into running, and running turned into racing. Her first in-person Peachtree last year.
It was actually amazing.
Where she learned why people run.
One of the best things is the spectators, because you have so many people that are just cheering everybody on.
It's the connection with the people, the friends you meet, and her brother.
He's been running ever since he was a child.
Her biggest motivator.
Unfortunately, we never got the opportunity to do any races together.
LaToya's brother died when he was hit by a car last year. Suddenly, her why changed. She didn't know why she would keep running, or how. But just like the people on the sidelines that LaToya loved to see, her friends lifted her up.
Even when I was going through my spell of not wanting to do any more races,
so did her brother.
I knew my brother wouldn't want me to walk away from my commitments.
Now her brother runs each race with her. With every step, she sees his favorite colors.
And when I see the blue and the orange, it's a reminder like, no, you got to keep going. You have to keep going.
This year she'll lace up her shoes again, her friends and family cheering her on, some in person, some in spirit.
Every time I cross the finish line, I know I'm not just doing it for myself, but I'm also doing it for him as well.
It's why LaToya keeps running. Covering the Peachtree, I'm Molly Oak.
As that story shows us, when running the grueling AJC Peachtree Road Race, sometimes you have to find inspiration from overcoming challenges, from family to digging deep to finish as if your life depended on it.
Randy Coryell's reason for running: to prove that even though your body may work against you, life is still worth living. Here's Joe Ripley with more.
Randy Coryell bikes to train for the 2022 AJC Peachtree Road Race. He last ran the race 30 years ago. Since then, he's built a family, several businesses in Atlanta, and moved to Florida, all while overcoming injuries and battling rare forms of cancer multiple times.
I think anyone would have a bit of fear, which I certainly did, but there was also a determination to overcome and survive.
Dr. Sanjay Bagaria and others at the Mayo Clinic at Jacksonville helped Coryell through numerous surgeries. Despite Coryell living with 2 artificial knees and losing a kidney, Bagaria says the 65-year-old stayed calm and trusted his doctors, intent on living his life.
I think that's a really cool way of looking at cancer and how you approach it. He kind of approached it as an event in his life that, of course, is a big event, but continued living his life.
That has really helped me as I've grown up. Really know that
I don't limit myself.
Coriel will run the Peachtree with his daughter Carly. She went to college, lived in Australia, and traveled the world, all while her dad recovered and trained.
I don't think it was really ever a question of losing him. My mind never went there because I know how strong he is.
Dad signed Carly up, bought her some gear, and now the two hold each other accountable, running to make up for lost time.
Just the fact that we can do it together and he's able to be there with me and able to physically do it, I'm so excited.
Randy's goal is to set a personal best time and relish the excitement of running the Peachtree. He plans to run more triathlons and make unforgettable memories with family, no matter what stands in his way.
I'm 65 years old. A lot of guys that I know are retired, or they have their eye on retirement of some type. They're going to slow down. That's not me. I'm not going to do that.
She is as much a part of the AJC Peachtree Road Race as American flags and sore muscles.
97-year-old Betty Lindbergh preparing for her 33rd Peachtree, a feat that at one time seemed impossible. As Jerry Carnes reports, Betty wasn't always a fan of Atlanta's annual 4th of July jaunt.
There was a time when Betty Lindbergh thought her beloved city of Atlanta had lost its mind.
We were all working. You had a holiday. Why get up at the crack of dawn and go running down Peachtree Road?
Now she's part of the insanity, a big part of it. At the age of 97, Betty Lindbergh spends each day preparing to join the sweaty mass of humanity known as the AJC Peachtree Road Race. She still remembers the day in 1988 when her daughter and son-in-law asked her for a ride to the starting line. Before the day was over, she no longer thought of Atlanta's iconic run as crazy.
I was watching all these people come running by, and I said, I can do that.
She can indeed. In fact, she's only missed one Peachtree since that day. Her passion for running has brought her worldwide acclaim. Earlier this year, she became the fastest woman her age to run 5,000 meters, adding to her age group world record for the 800-meter run. In addition to her neighborhood runs, Betty works out 3 times a week at a local gym. She says as the years go by, it gets easier to think of excuses not to go. Then she tells herself, keep on moving. Keep moving. It's become her motto, the words she repeats over and over when she's convinced that she can't possibly run another Peachtree.
I'm aching and hurting, and it takes me at least 2 hours, and you finish, and on the way to the car, you say, now next year I've got to start training earlier.
Family members now join her on Peachtree, including her grandson. The insanity is spreading.
I always say I'm never going to do it again, but I guess I just don't know any better.
At the age of 97,
okay, let's go.
She just keeps moving.
It's what I need to do. I just have to get out there and do it.
In Northeast Atlanta, Jerry Carnes, 11 Alive News.
There are many things that we love about Peachtree. Some of it is pure fun, but for others, it is a real challenge.
And it doesn't get any more challenging than that stretch of the race that we call Cardiac Hill, right near Piedmont Hospital. Photojournalist Jefferson Cochran shows us the ups and downs as runners try and conquer cardiac.
Great job, you guys.
This has been kind of a tradition for the last 8 years since we've been living in this neighborhood. So it's great to see it back and forth.
It's amazing, yeah. It's really amazing.
It's just awesome to come out here this early in the morning and watch all these people from, I guess, all over Georgia probably coming here to run this. And so the least we can do is come up here and cheer them.
Great job.
It is so Atlanta, and we're at Heartbreak Hill here. And I get to see all my neighbors.
It's just amazing the volume of people that are out here, and then waiting to see friends come by and all the people in the crazy costumes. That's what's so fun.
So fun. Because I think this is one of the harder parts. When you get up here, at least you can start to coast a little bit.
USA!
It is totally an Atlanta experience. And good hill, good hill. Good job, Dawn. You love trying to get people up the hill usually. Hey, great job,
It's Atlanta institution, but it is very important in the history of our country. It's great. It's America, you know?
Straight ahead on Start to Finish, the Peachtree Road Race has its own youth movement. We take you inside the unpredictable fun that is the Peachtree Junior. This weekend's big event started with the Peachtree Junior on Sunday morning. Kids 6 to 14 years old ran 1 mile, while the younger kids ran a 50-yard dash.
And as always, they loved it. Photojournalist Chris Cole shows us.
It was long, but surprisingly, I did it. I had good training every day.
Was you tired at any point in the race?
Extremely, yeah, extremely.
Peachtree Junior is that first step in your Peachtree tradition for those kids, and we're excited this year to bring the Microsoft Peachtree Junior back to life. Microsoft is helping us not only get kids physically active, but once they finish running, they're going into that tent that's in front of me to learn how to do some STEM programming, to learn some computer programming.
My son and I had COVID. My family had COVID 3 times. We thought we couldn't be able to run again. My son had insomnia, and he loved running. And he said, "I want to run, Mommy. I want to run. I want to run." Tell everybody that has COVID and thought they can't run, you can do it. God is a healer. He's with you. My son is a testimony. God has healed us, and he ran this race.
Still to come, he is the Michael Jordan of his sport. But what makes Daniel Romachuk so great? You'll find out.
And another reason why we love the Peachtree so much, a stage 4 cancer diagnosis. Not enough to slow down this athlete. Her inspiring story next.